Okay, here we're going to look at some different ways to physically help support cannabis plants. And these could be used as for very small plants, but are more commonly used on large plants. And here we see an outdoor grow, there's a lot of wind and other environmental factors. So here it becomes even more advantageous that not only are these support systems in place, but they're fairly strong and robust. So trellis netting is the first one. We see that kind of going back in that title slide. We see some horizontal and some vertical trellis netting. Trellis netting needs to be layered out ahead of time to allow plants to grow through it. So this is referring to kind of the more horizontal approach, allowing those plants to grow up and through it. It should be supported well so plants don't fall over and break later in the growing cycle when the upper plant yields increase in weight. So this is something that initially, because it's very spaced and a lot of air can come through it, it's just fine. But as these plants grow through it and become heavy, laden with yield, we want to make sure that it is well established so you're not jeopardizing your entire crop. Then there's stakes, easy to apply when and where they're needed. Always good to have a couple extra on hand. If you reuse them, they should be cleaned in some way. And we could kind of see at the end of the season here where we're getting our harvest, seeing how the architecture of those stakes looked. And here's an earlier part of the grow, and we can see them being tied up here and kind of help support those plants, keep in a vertical growing arrangement. Lastly, there's cages, and they're best applied early in the growing cycle. Again, kind of when you put the plants in the ground soon after that. They can transmit disease if not cleaned between uses if constructed of reusable material, such as these wire cages here. These trellis ones, both the horizontal and the vertical, typically are wrapped up at the end of the season and discarded. Metal cages are a great option. Just make sure you're in some way cleaning them between your growing seasons.